Is the United States government secretly coordinating to end crypto once and for all? And if so, what would be the motivation for that? Could it possibly be the near launch of phase 1 of a central bank digital currency? It seems like that may be the case, with new evidence pointing in that direction. A government campaign against crypto right now is being called Operation Choke Point 2.0. So first, what exactly would this Operation Choke Point 2.0 be? How are they going about trying to end crypto here once and for all? And then what are the possible motivations for doing that? Well, it's no secret that the United States government and regulatory agencies are not a fan of crypto. And I have been very vocal for the past year, maybe 2 years now, that it looks like crypto is being used as a Trojan horse for a central bank digital currency. In fact, in the United States, there has been a very obvious and confusing lack of regulation pointing at the crypto space from a government that loves to regulate everything it can get its hands on. From the SEC to the CFTC, there has been a huge hands-off approach, which is very out of character. Now, for the most part, I have looked at this and I have said, look, what's going to happen here is a big run up, the bubble, a lot of money, a lot of fraud gets exposed, and then you're going to have them come in with their own solutions, use that as kind of a Trojan horse. And so backing off and keeping their hands off of it will allow the collapse to happen that they're looking for to usher in the solutions that they want in the end. It's not because they love free markets. It's not because they're laissez-faire. It's not because of good intentions. And this is one of the things that has been keeping big money, large technology companies and institutions out of crypto, because for the most part, many Americans actually like laws and regulations. Now, obviously, I am no fan of this, but I understand that that's how a lot of American culture is. And if you've got a large company that doesn't want any beef with the American government, they're not going to touch something that is still uncertain as to how it is going to be regulated in the future. Why would you pour tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars into large crypto projects when you have no idea whether what you are making will be legal in 6 months or a year or 5 years? You are going to wait on the sidelines until the regulatory red carpet gets rolled out and allows the big boys to move forward. And in having a hands-off approach to crypto, regulators have pushed all crypto innovation and people who are trying to do something in this space into the hands of either offshore where there's less regulation, or to the people who just don't care about those rules and what they might be. It's similar to drugs. Who is going to be the one in control of drugs when you outlaw it? Obviously, it's going to be the outlaws, the people who don't care about the laws. It's going to go into the hands of the gangs and the cartels, and that's who's going to be making money off of it. And so when there's wide speculation and all the people who care about the law are waiting for the laws to get passed before they enter into crypto, the only people who are going to be in that space before that are the people who don't care about the laws, by nature going to be the ones who are going to lean more towards being fraudulent and doing things that they shouldn't be doing, which is why we've seen so much of a collapse recently. But the tune is changing, and they are no longer, it seems, having a hands-off approach, and it looks like Operation Choke Point is now turning, and they are trying to crush every last remaining business or entity in the states involved in crypto. Back in February, we saw that there was a issue with being denied a master account application from banks, companies involved with crypto whatsoever. And now, as actual banks are collapsing left and right, Signature Bank, Silicon Valley Bank, Credit Suisse, and who's next? We are starting to see some of the behind the scenes and how Signature Bank may have actually been just purely an attack on crypto. Now, if you know anything about me, you know I am no fan of crypto. I love Bitcoin, love gold, love silver. I am not a fan of crypto. And so in no way, shape, or form is this video a defense of crypto, but I am a fan of choice and voluntarism and freedom. And I do not think the US government should be in the position of telling people what they can do with information, with innovation, and with business. At this point, we all know what happened with Silicon Valley Bank. They did something that every other bank does, which is take your deposits and loan them out. When people go to get their deposits back in too fast and too many, they can't call all those loans, so they have to sell them. They don't have enough left over to meet the deposits. That's how banks operate. Another bank that got seized by regulators was Signature Bank. Was Signature Bank in trouble? Well, maybe not. There was another bank called First Republic. It was under even more pressure than Signature Bank, and it is still down about 70% from the time before the banking collapse started. But First Republic was not shut down. One of their board members said that they think a part of what happened was that regulators wanted to send a very strong anti-crypto message. But it goes deeper than that. Sources told Reuters that any buyer right now of Signature must agree to give up all crypto business at the bank. Now, to be fair, an FDIC spokesperson said that after this was published, that the agency was not requiring divestment of crypto activities. But it goes deeper. Congressman Tom Emmer on Wednesday wrote a letter to Chairman Grunberg saying that recent reports indicate federal financial regulators have weaponized their authorities over the last several months. They have highlighted the targeted nature of these efforts to single out financial institutions and send a message to get people away from crypto. What could possibly be the government's motivation at this point to tighten the noose to try and shut down and end all crypto business, including the seizing of banks that were not actually at risk maybe of failure like Signature, and then requiring those banks to give up all crypto asset related activity if another bank is going to buy them out? It could just be a coincidence, but on March 15th, the Federal Reserve confirmed and announced that July would be the launch of its FedNow instant payments service. FedNow will start operating in July, an instant payments system with financial institutions and the US Treasury. So what is the Fed's FedNow instant payment service, and why did I say at the beginning of this video that it is a precursor or phase one of a central bank digital currency? Before I answer that question, I would like to spend a moment to talk to you about today's sponsor, iTrust Capital. iTrust Capital is a company that many people are asking me about right now, specifically because of everything that is going on with crypto. A couple of months ago, we had the big collapse, FTX, Binance. Now we are seeing banks like Signature Bank being seized and a bunch of tech companies saying, hey, where's our money at? And sending information out to its clients saying, hey, we may or may not have access to all of our funds. Want to give you guys a behind the scenes of iTrust Capital just to show you where they're at. As Warren Buffett says, when the tide goes out, you can see who's swimming naked, which also means that you can see who's not swimming naked. iTrust Capital does not have any exposure to Signature Bank aside from limited use of Signet for settlements with a few of their liquidity providers, and they have no exposure to Silvergate Bank or Silicon Valley Bank. In addition to that, all assets at iTrust Capital are held off balance sheet. This means that client accounts can never be commingled with their business operating funds. iTrust Capital is a self-directed IRA company, meaning that you can make a new IRA with new contributions, or you can roll over existing retirement account funds into a self-directed IRA in order to buy things like gold, silver, Bitcoin, or other crypto. You know that I am not a fan of other cryptocurrencies, but for Bitcoin, gold, silver, a self-directed IRA with iTrust Capital is one of the safest and easiest ways to get exposure to those assets with your retirement money. Okay, so FedNow, it is the long-awaited digital payment system by the Federal Reserve for instant payments. It is a leading-edge payment system that is resilient, adaptive, and accessible. And the announcement that in July they will be going live with FedNow coming just days after the collapse and the takeover of Signature Bank, a very crypto heavy bank is probably coincidental, but it does make one suspicious. If we are seeing Operation Choke Point 2.0 roll out in real time, we would expect to see something like what is going on right now. Number one, a huge easy money fueled bubble where everybody thinks they're getting rich on NFTs and the latest new crypto coin. Huge bubble, then it pops, everybody starts to lose their money. Oh yeah, and then all that easy money funded and fueled frauds and actual scams by the only people who were willing to get into that industry at that time, the people who don't care about what the current or future laws may be. So obviously there's going to be a lot of fraudsters that are attracted to that. So the hands-off regulation fueled by the easy money, the money printing, caused the bubbles and the fraud. And then once all that starts to collapse, then you start to tighten the noose. Why? Because you know that all of these things, especially like Bitcoin, are pointing to the future. People want easy, cheap, fast payments. People really want freedom money, anti-censorship money that doesn't rely on third-party approval, that cannot be reversed. But governments have no interest in doing that. So they're going to try to lump everything all together, shut it down, make people lose their money, discourage businesses from engaging in any business activity that looks like crypto at all, and then roll out their own solutions that give you some of the advantages that you want, but not most of them. Their own solution, FedNow, that includes some of those advantages, will be advantages like settling payments in seconds, consumer to consumer, or consumer to merchant, or merchant to merchant, or bank to bank transactions. Starting in April, the Fed will be certifying banks to launch the service, and early adopters will conduct testing and inform feedback for the pilot program. Some other features of the new FedNow system is that this program will be open 24/7. The current system closes on weekends. They could also get money to people much more quickly. For instance, government payments like the stimulus checks in 2020 could have been credited to accounts immediately rather than taking days. Interesting. So maybe in the case of another crisis where they have to send out money again, maybe that's the only option. And maybe in order to get your money that way, you have to sign up for some sort of special account to be able to get your money instantly. Maybe something like a Fed wallet. Some Fed officials are saying this program could even supplant the need for a central bank digital currency. And some people are saying that this system is an alternative to central bank digital currencies and stablecoins. Maybe it's an alternative, but only because it's already halfway there. The Fed is saying that making funds immediately available will help Americans who are living paycheck to paycheck, or with small businesses with cash flow constraints, by avoiding late payment fees and cutting demand for payday loans so that consumers don't have to wait for a check to clear. And lastly, we know that if this goes well, if this pilot program, if it works, the next stage is going to be rolling this out to payments between government agencies. So the US government will start using FedNow for all of its payments. And once that happens, maybe they start using it for payments from the government anywhere else. Maybe in order to pay your taxes, you have to use it, or to get a tax refund, or to get your social security check. It's all going to start going through FedNow, which is why I say this is phase one of a central bank digital currency. This is building and testing the infrastructure for the payment system. Is it all the way there yet? No. Will it provide some advantages for people? Absolutely. Is the risk worth the reward? It's yet to be seen. Now, I don't want to be making any crazy claims here. I don't want to be pushing any theories that don't have evidence to back them up. But what I do see here, even if it's not a coordinated plan, everybody working together in order to crush crypto and Trojan horse a CBDC all in one concerted, coordinated effort, what I do see is those same things happening, whether they're coincidence or not. We saw a giant bubble fueled by the easy money. We saw fraud start fueled by the almost intentionally looking lack of regulation. And now we're seeing the hammer hit down hard with banks like Signature Bank, a message being sent to the industry, stay away from crypto. And right at the same time, we are seeing the launch of the government's quasi crypto program, quasi CBDC program, FedNow. It may not be intentional, but the results are the same. And if you don't currently own the things that will allow you to do transactions outside of a fully controlled financial system, things like gold, silver, Bitcoin, things to trade with, things to barter with, maybe if things get bad enough, black market type of transactions. If you don't own those things already, at some point soon, you won't be able to turn your dollars into those things. The on and off ramps will be closed. Today, you can still use your dollars to buy those things. But once the noose tightens hard enough and far enough, you will not be able to use those dollars. Get off the off ramp, use those dollars to get those other things. Better to be prepared and not need it than to need it and not be prepared. As always, really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.